see if anybody's calling in online, and then anybody in the room who wants to speak may do so. Please remember to state your name and address for the record. You've got 3 minutes to address the council, and I'm going to start with our first name, Daniel Bates. And
thank you. My name is Daniel Bates. I live at 45 Orchard Brook Drive in Weathersfield. I've come as a member of the Ragged Mountain Foundation, which was founded in 1991 to preserve and protect access to rock climbing areas in Connecticut, particularly those on the Trap Rock ridges of central Connecticut. I would like to appeal to the Common Council to allow rock climbing and passive recreation generally on the 375 North Shuttle Street property in Southington, which is owned by the city and managed by the New Britain Water Department. This area is known among climbers as the Bradley Mountain Boulders, named from its proximity to a high point on the Trap Rock Ridge. The Bradley Mountain Boulders have become a renowned destination for the subsport of bouldering, with something for every level of climber, from elites to enthusiasts to beginners. And it regularly attracts visitors from around the Northeast region and beyond. The property also hosts a section of the 235-mile New England Trail, as well as numerous hiking trails, mountain biking trails, and carriage paths. It's used by local residents for hiking, trail running, mountain biking, dog walking, and of course by the climbers who come from near and far to test their skills. New Britain also owns several additional watershed properties that contain an abundance of unique, worthwhile, and historic climbing areas that would benefit the community if opened to recreation. Sadly for us, last year the Water Department began enforcing a closure of this property to climbing. The climbing community has, over the last year or two, respected the closure of the property and tried to reach out to the Water Department without success, so we are now appealing to the Common Council. Opening the property to recreation would benefit more than just climbers. There would also be benefits for the residents of New Britain and nearby communities. One just needs to observe the popularity of the West Hartford reservoirs or the 9 watershed areas open and managed for recreation by the Regional Water Authority in the greater New Haven region. The communities that live around the New Britain watershed lands deserve the same recreational opportunities in their backyard. The Bradley Mountain Boulders and the surrounding watershed lands are also special to me personally, as I've been climbing, hiking, and trail running through these areas for more than 20 years now. I hope someday to see this great area celebrated rather than shut down. I believe I can also say that the 470-ish members of the Ragged Mountain Foundation share my sentiment. I hope the council will consider supporting this cause. Thank you for your time.
thank you, Dan. Our next speaker is Jen Camille.
Yeah.
Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Oh,
Usually people don't say it right.
I'm shocked. Yeah.
So,
Please proceed.
my name is Jen, and my address is 105 Mill Rock Road in Hamden, Connecticut. I am also on the board of the Ragged Mountain Foundation, as Dan is as well, Connecticut's local climbing organization. So I'm also here to talk about Bradley Boulders and the enforced closure that happened last year by the New Britain Water Department. This area is the highest concentration of bouldering in Connecticut, subset type of climbing, and it's also some of the highest quality bouldering in the Northeast, where people travel from out of state and further to come climb here. And it's also a great parcel of land for outdoor recreation in general, to allow hiking, dog walking, trail running, whatever your outdoor recreation pursuits may be. So it is upsetting that the enforced closure is happening to all types of outdoor recreation, because the benefits of outdoor recreation, beyond just the physical movement, there are such great ones. Like, we're talking about mental and emotional benefits of being able to recreate outdoors in nature, decrease stress, decrease anxiety, depression, and overall enhanced mood that happens with the outdoors. And then you also get the outdoor communities along with your pursuits in the outdoors. So with that comes self-purpose, self-belonging, human interaction, which is also benefits the community at large, because then people become more active outside of just those smaller communities, but the larger communities as well. And climbers as well are great stewards of the land, so it's not like they would just let this land go away. Like, we would take care of the land through trail days, trail maintenance, cleanup, to preserve the land itself, and then also allow other outdoor recreation to happen and enjoy it as well. And the RMF actually started a program, Crag Steward Program, where climbers within our community take part in hosting. A crag is like a climbing area that climbing is allowed on, and they host trail cleanup days, and the community comes along, and we would definitely be doing that at Bradley Boulders if access were permitted. So we are just hoping to try and open access to all outdoor recreation on this piece of land, and we have not had success with the New Britain Water Department, so that's why we are coming to you all to hopefully have the conversation, open the doors, and come up with some way. We have worked with other towns as well, like Meriden Parks and Rec. We worked with them to allow climbing through a permitting system. We've worked with DEEP to allow climbing, and also the Berlin Land Trust to preserve climbing areas in Connecticut as well. So we are hoping to do the same with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Our next speaker is Dana Snell.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Dana Snell. I'm the executive director of the Queen Anne and Zinga Center. We're located at 19 Chestnut Street in the building with Trinity on Main. I personally live at 18 Newton Avenue in Plainville. Just make sure I cover all the bases. I came here to advocate for a project that I was learned about that had to do with creating a sculpture downtown for the holidays celebrating Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. There's a local artist named Enoch Shabazz, who is from the community. He's an amazing artist. He's recognized with the Rise Up program, and I think it would be very exciting to be able to expand on what New Britain already does in terms of being an embracive and inclusive community, how we raise flags for special occasions, identifying and supporting people in the community. Our idea includes having the kids from the Queen Anne and Zinga Center. This year we have about 15 to 25 kids currently enrolled in the program, ages 4 to 19. And part of the idea is that Mr. Shabazz would come by and invite our kids to be a part of putting that piece of artwork together, so that when kids go downtown then during the holiday seasons, they can see what they've really been a part of, as well as also having kids be a part of the beautiful things that are happening. There's a lot of art going on in New Britain, and a lot of new buildings where you're inviting people from across the land to be residents of New Britain and to pay taxes of New Britain. And so I feel like that would also be a great opportunity for people to be able to look out of their apartments downtown and see things that are familiar, that celebrate and support them. I'm asking for you to not just listen to me, but to really supply resources. Mr. Shabazz, this project would cost about $7,000 if we paid fair market value, and Mr. Shabazz is offering to do it for $3,000, including the supplies and his time with our kids. I don't know how you get money to do these things, but I know that there's opportunities for line items and ways that we could do that. I think $3,000 is a little bit of money to make such a huge, long-term impact on the community. So I just came this evening to support and smile and tell you I just came back from Louisiana, right off the plane from New Orleans to come and advocate. But I love this city, and I love the things that we do in this city, and I encourage you to find a way to be able to support that this year, because I think it'll have a lot of benefit for all of us here. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Dana. Our next speaker on the list is David DeFranzo.
Oh, you're coming too? Good evening, everyone. My name is Dave DeFranzo, 95 Pape Road, New Britain. I just wanted to come and officially introduce myself to everybody. I know many of you, I've met a number of you either personally or professionally over the years, but I was lucky enough to be elected to the state legislature for the 26th district, and I did want to come and formally introduce myself to all of you. I also wanted to just take a second to thank all of you for your service to the city. I know, having served on the city council for 4 or 5 years, it's can be a thankless job at times, and you all deserve credit for all the work that you do. It takes a lot of time and energy, so very much appreciated, and I look forward to working with you all in the future. So thanks very much, and Matthew said he supports the climbers. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. And Matthew? That's all the speakers I have on the list. Is there anybody calling in? No callers. Is there anybody else wishing to, speak to the council? Anybody else? Anybody else? Hearing none. Public participation portion of the meeting is over at 7:12. And as with our custom, invite any members of the council want to comment on what they've heard from the public. Alderwoman Scott.
Okay, so thanks everybody for coming, as usual. Thank you guys, the rock climbers, both for coming. I think, I didn't know about this, so I appreciate you coming and sharing this. I had no idea, but I do really appreciate the mental health benefits that you brought up, because I'm a therapist, and like the stress relief and all of that. I think it's definitely for mental health or physical health, everything, getting outdoors, encouraging interaction, and helping. Maybe this will help with the loneliness that some people are experiencing as well. So I think it's something that we just need to maybe, as a council, look more into and get more information, because I had no idea. So I appreciate you guys coming. Dana, thank you for coming. I know you just rushed off of a plane, so we really appreciate you coming in. And so this will definitely create more inclusivity in our city, and celebrate all of the human beings that live here in our city. And I have been working really hard on trying to get this, not only for this project, but for other things in the city, to make us more aware of everybody who lives here. I think it's extremely important for our health to do this, and so we can create peace and love with each other. So I've been reached out to the downtown district, human rights. I haven't really been getting the response that I need. I feel like with this getting us down to the cost, originally it was around 18,000, I think, was the quotes that we were getting, and then for Enox, the artist, to basically donate his time and resources to do this at the price that we can get this done at, I don't really know what the excuse is for us not really doing it this year. So I think, I'm glad that you came. I hope that, everybody here heard what you said, and that we can try to work on trying to figure out a way to get this done together, because together we can accomplish so much. I mean, my 8th grade teacher said, just do it, so just do it. Just do it, 8B. And thank you, Dave, for coming out. Oh, the other thing about the project, the fact that this will include children, we're going to engage our youth in this activity. Our children need activities here in the city. I hear multiple complaints about us not having things for certain age groups to do. This would create something for them to do. We are able to do it in a short amount of time to get it done this year. The artist is volunteering his time to make sure that it gets done. So let's see what we can do, to get it done, and do something for our kids too, because this is not just, this is about our community. Getting things like this done. But thank you, Dave, for coming. And I appreciate your service and your work that you're doing. Congratulations on your win. And thank you for bringing Matthew, because he's so cute. And it's important to bring our kids out to these meetings and let them see what's going on here. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members wish to speak?
Mr. Chair.
Alderwoman Barboza. I should look to my right every time.
Works every time. To the hikers, you brought up some very valid points regarding mental health. During COVID, I did a lot of walking, a lot of hiking. I had to go out of town to find trails and find paths because there's not many here in New Britain. That's a great idea. I'm hoping that we're listening and changes will be made, because the more open space people have to enjoy and take in the fresh air, the better it is for their mental health, as you stated. Dana, when it comes to the kids, the most important thing I've always said, when children are a product of what's going on in their community, they take pride in taking care of their community. So I'm hoping that this art project does pass and it does get the support that it's needed. Thanks for bringing it up, and Dave DeFranzo, congratulations.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any other members? President Santiago.
That sounds weird.
Not that president.
Don't I wish? But anyways, to the rock climbers, I did exactly the same thing when COVID came. It was important for us as a family. We went out trails. We went to all the waterfalls. We went to all the areas that we could find, that were on the maps, that was, not so high. Because I'm sorry, I'm scared of heights. That's one thing. So kudos to you guys climbing those rocks, those mountains, because you won't see me up there. I'm sorry. I'll be watching you from the bottom. But when we did have an email, I think earlier in our term, that was brought to us about the concerns you guys wanted it to climb, and we did reach out to the water department, and then they were saying there was some liability issues, also because of the waterfront we use that water that also has to be kind of secured. But I think we should have some kind of conversations in whole, just to see if we could meet in the middle, maybe have some kind of plan or something. I can't promise you that, but at least I'll open up the doors and see if we could kind of have discussions about it. Because again, if it wasn't for us as trails and things like that, it did kind of help us from not killing each other in the house, right? So that being said, I will try to see if we could work out on some kind of plan or something. I'm not making any promises, but just to see if we could kind of have the conversations. Kids, I'm always about kids. Every time we come through the hallway skywalk, I look at the drawings and the artwork that the kids from different schools and classes come in and express themselves through art. To have somebody come in and actually donate their time to do something that's wonderful, because the kids love creating things, right? I always said when we always those events, they have Art Street and everything, I always said why the kids are not there, because to me they'll take more pride to it than us. We'll just think of it as a job, whereas for them it's creativity, is their expression, there's everything about them that you could see from their work. I support that all day, and I told Candace about it. I expressed to her that I'm definitely supportive of it. It's just some litigation stuff that we have to work out there. Dave, congratulations. I appreciate you coming and introducing yourself. I think that's probably the first time I've seen a state representative actually done that. I'm not correcting, but appreciate that you open the doors. And I'm looking forward to working with you. Sharon also, emailing you about certain projects. But congratulations. And Matt, hey, thanks for coming too.
Thank you. Any other members wish to remark? Any others? Seeing none, I'll declare this portion of the meeting over. Thanks to our speakers, and the regular meeting will begin shortly. It's 7:20.
You're welcome. All right. I would like to call to order this regular meeting of the New Britain Common Council. The date's November 13th, 2024. The time is 7:28 PM. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara.
Here.
Smedley. Sanchez. Beloin Saavedra. Simpson. Russell. Barbosa. Hargraves. McAdam. Gibson. Scott.
Here.
Connors. Malinowski. Pabon. Santiago.
Present.
15 present, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Can we all please rise for the invocation? Will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. O God, our Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the veterans who made great sacrifices on our behalf and ask that you bless them, whether they suffer from past trauma or injury or have met in your kingdom of peace. We owe them a debt of gratitude for the freedom of our country. We also give thanks for our family and the love, happiness, and time we will share during the holiday season. As we enjoy our Thanksgiving feast, bless the numerous volunteers who will ensure no one is forgotten and no one goes without. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll get right into it this evening. Alderman Santiago, I see some minutes for us to approve.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of September 25th, 2024, and October 9th of 2024.
I have a second from Alderman Smedley. Are there any questions or comments regarding the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I don't see any amendments to the agenda, so
No, Your
we'll
Honor.
go right on into petitions, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, Your Honor, we have two of them. First one from Alderman Santiago to conduct a traffic study at the intersection of Reservoir Road and Shuttle Meadow Avenue and supply suggestions for safety mechanisms to be enacted to deter speeding and reckless driving.
Thank you. We'll send that to the Police Commission.
Okay, number two from Alderman Santiago to install a crosswalk on Slater Road at Jerome Drive, nearby Crack Academy.
Okay, we'll send that to the Police Commission as well.
That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. Moving on to the consent agenda, Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the consent agenda of items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and L.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda this evening? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderpersons McNamara.
Aye.
Smedley. Sanchez. Beloin Saavedra. Simpson. Russell. Barbosa. Hargraves. McAdam. Gibson. Scott. Connors. Malinowski. Pabon. Santiago.
Yes.
15-0, Your Honor.
Motion carries. On to resolutions this evening. Item 1, Alderman Santiago.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 1.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
This is to amend a section of the zoning ordinances related to the municipal parking district.
Any questions, comments?
Yes, Your Honor, I have a... The last meeting, when we had the committee on discussing this, I had asked the question of why we were removing, say district shall be established on sections 170-50-90, point 10. And I had asked why we were removing the section that said, say district shall be established by the City Planning Commission with the approval of Common Council and the bond thereof may be amended by actions of those bodies from time to time. The answer was that because it was being redundant, because it was said in the beginning of this resolution. The issue is, to me, is that it's not in the same section as the one for the top. So, to me, I think that we need to put that back into the two sections, because there are two different sections of this ordinance in which this is where that was important to have in there. So, that being said, I would like to make a motion to amend the resolution 36582-3 and put back on a 770-50-90.10, what I just read. The said district shall be established by the City Planning Commission with approval of the Common Council, and the bonds thereof may be amended by the action of these bodies from time to time.
Is there a second on the amendment?
Second amendment.
There's a second from Alderman McNamara. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Alderwoman Beloin-Saavedra?
Could we just have Mr. Benjamin come to the podium and address that?
Sure.
Good evening. This piece of the amendment in question is really simple cleanup. As we're going through the zoning code and as we present you with all the items that you see, one of the things we're really tasked with is cleaning up and streamlining the zoning code. Where we see redundancy, we seek to eliminate it, and that's all that this was attempting to do.
Any other questions? Alderwoman Beloin-Saavedra?
So with the exception that it's redundant, it doesn't really matter whether it's there or not there.
Not especially.
I just want to know, should I oppose Alderman Santiago, or is it no harm, no foul?
It's no harm, no foul. We are still going to bring you elimination of redundant items when we see them, though.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Benjamin.
Any other questions for Mr. Benjamin? Alderman Hargraves.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just for clarification, where is the duplication?
I don't have it right in front of me.
It's not a part of this section. That's
No, it does
in front
exist
of
in
us,
two places.
But it does exist.
Yep,
And you're not gonna lie.
absolutely.
All right, so, thank you.
You got it.
It would be in the minutes, Alderman Hargrave.
It's in the first section under exemptions and waivers and 240-8020. It's the last sentence in the first paragraph. It says said district shall be established by City Plan Commission, if you're looking at the resolution this evening.
Thank you.
Any other additional questions? Alderwoman Scott, on the amendment, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem with having it restated, just to be clear, just so it's in writing and clear for everybody to see. So I'm for the amendment.
Okay. Any other questions, comments on the amendment? And just to be clear, Alderman Santiago, so we're taking the,
Put both of them, but I gotta do one by one. So this, because it's section 7, then if you go back to the other one, it's 216-50-10, which is the municipality parking district, which that was also removed.
okay, so you're doing them, you're gonna do one
I'm
of
gonna do one at a time.
Okay.
Yes.
So the amendment,
Both if you wanted to.
you could, if you want to restate your amendment, you can just, yeah.
I would like to withdraw the amendment and reinstate a new one, which would be that I would amend 170-50-90.10, also 216-50-10, and also that's the same language that would be put back, which should be said, district shall be established by the City Planning Commission with approval of the Common Council, and the bonds thereof may be amended by actions of those bodies from time to time.
Second that.
Seconded by Alderman McNamara. Amendment is back on the table. Any questions or comments on the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go back to discussion on the item as amended once. Any further discussion on the amended item? All those in favor of the amended item, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 this evening, Alderman Hargraves.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt resolution number 2.
Seconded by Alderman Santiago.
This resolution is to amend section of the zoning ordinances to add grading and excavation requirements to the regulations. The section is intended to regulate the conditions and operating of excavation, grading, filling, and removal of earth, sand, stone, gravel, soil, minerals, loam, fill, clay, peat, whatever that is, and other earth products. Furthermore, this section is intended to conserve and reserve water storage areas, which is very important at this time, and to assure that erosion and sediments are minimized. Water pollution is prevented, hazards inherent to open pits and steep slopes of loose earth are prevented, and nuisance such as excess or unconfirmed traffic, noise, odor, dust are minimized. Visual blight is controlled and the productive usage of land is maintained. And I support this. I urge adoption. That's the word I was looking for.
Thanks, Alderman. Any further questions
thank you,
or
Alderman
comments
Simpson.
on resolution number 2? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, Alderman Pabon.
Thank you, Your Honor. Make a motion to accept and adopt item number 3.
I have a second from Alderman Gibson.
Okay, this is to amend the section of the zoning ordinance related to accessory dwellings, and there is quite a bit of them, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Pabon. Are there any questions or comments on item number 3? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, Alderman Russell. For
Thank you, Your
Alderman
Honor.
Gibson.
I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 4.
I have a second from Alderman Connors.
This resolution is to amend the official zoning map to expand the municipal parking district north of Broad Street and North Street and south of Whiting Street. I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Scott, item 5.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 5.
I have a second from Alderman Connors.
This one is for recognizing Lung Cancer Awareness Month. Lung cancer is a leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, accounting for more deaths than breast cancer, prostate cancer. Cigarette smoking is a primary cause of lung cancer, responsible for approximately 85% of lung cancer causes. Secondhand smoke exposure is a significant risk factor, leading to thousands of deaths among non-smokers. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, cigarette smoking causes a lot of deaths here in this country, and moreover, smoking-related illnesses cost the nation more than $300 billion each year in healthcare and productivity. Children that are exposed to secondhand smoke are at risk of developing respiratory infections, asthma, sudden death syndrome, and other complications. Smoking during pregnancy is also a risk of premature death, low birth weight, and infant death. Promoting a smoke-free environment in public spaces, including our city hall, is essential to protecting the health and well-being of residents, workers, and visitors that visit our city. The Common Council of New Britain hereby to designate November as Lung Cancer Awareness Month and strongly urges residents to become more informed about dangers of smoking, secondhand smoking, and immediate steps to quit smoking to protect our health and our families. And I just want to disclose, I was a smoker for many years. I haven't smoked in like 24 years, so it is really hard to quit. There is a hotline number, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, and I also encourage people to see their primary care doctor or counseling, because it is very addictive and hard to quit, but willpower can do it. The City of New Britain to continue to work towards reducing the smoking rates and spreading awareness and prevention of lung cancer and supporting families that might be affected, and I urge adoption.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? motion carries. Alderman Malinowski, item number 6.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 6.
Second from Alderman Hargreaves.
And the New Britain Common Council recognizes the month of November as the time traditionally set aside to celebrate Thanksgiving, a holiday that encourages reflection, gratitude, and unity. Thanksgiving is a time to honor and remember those who came before us, from the early settlers to the native peoples, whose histories and experiences have shaped the foundation of this nation. And while we may overeat at the end of the month, it's important to take a little bit of time to just cherish and be grateful for our friends, families, loved ones, any opportunities or anything that we've been able to receive over the last year. And the Common Council of the City of New Britain hereby recognizes November 28th, 2024 as Thanksgiving Day, and a month of November as a time for gratitude and reflection, and encourages all citizens to practice thankfulness, kindness, and respect in their daily lives for the betterment of themselves and their communities. And I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments on item number 6? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Barbosa for item number 7.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 7.
Second from Alderman Simpson.
This is the authorization to accept grant documents with the State of Connecticut DOT for the fiscal year 2025 comprehensive DUI enforcement program for municipal parking departments. This is a summary from January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. The New Britain Police Department made 96 DUI arrests. Whereas the Connecticut Department of Transportation's Division of Highway Safety has made available federal highway funds for overtime to support DUI law enforcement efforts from November 1st to September 6th of 2025. And whereas in accordance with federal requirements, all initial allowable expenses will be provided for by the city and reimbursable on a 100% basis, and be it resolved that Mayor Aaron Stewart is authorized to execute all grant documents within the State of Connecticut DOT on behalf of the city for the fiscal year 2025 comprehensive DUI enforcement program for municipal police departments in the sum of $119,560 to provide federal dollars for overtime to target those that choose to drive under the influence, thus making city streets safer, and be it resolved that the sum of $119,560 be appropriated within the special revenue account structure as follows. State Department of Transportation will get the total of $119,560. And I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Are there any questions or comments on the acceptance of this grant? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Barbosa, item 8.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 8.
Second from Alderman Santiago.
This is appropriations for the New Britain Police Department to receive and authorization to accept funds from the Department of Justice. It's a project for Safe Neighborhoods grant. The Connecticut Department of Justice is not providing this funding just for the city of New Britain. It is also providing it to local cities such as Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, Waterbury, and New London. It is an initiative to educate our youth on guns, gangs, and violence. I am all in for this funding, as it is through education that our children learn the effects of such behaviors. Not only do their actions affect others, but the consequences that they themselves can incur. No parent or guardian wants to see their child hurt by violence, and no parent or guardian wants their child involved in such activities. And no one wants to see a child bear the consequences for not truly understanding what their actions have created or caused. For the sole purpose of educating our treasured souls, it's funding and programs as such that help build a safer New Britain. The funding grant is for $10,000, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman Barbosa. Any questions or comments on this item? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Can the chief come up and maybe talk a little bit about this program? I was at a meeting about a week or so ago where I just heard about this from the Community Services Office, so I think we need to talk specifically about how this program works, so can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. So we actually took a different approach this year. We actually applied for the grant asking for it in order to implement the Be Responsible program in the middle schools. Everybody knows we had a successful first year at the 5th grade level.
I'm going to stop you right there. Back up and tell everybody what Be Responsible is. Start from square one.
the full rundown. If
I know.
she's going to make me say it, and I'm not going to enjoy saying it.
I
but
know.
It's Be Responsible is the new age DARE. I'm not big on saying DARE because in all the research I've done, DARE was not as successful as we all would hoped it would be. But there was a focus, obviously, at the elementary school level on preventing certain behaviors when kids do reach the middle school and high school levels. Has a focus on everything from bullying to appropriate social media use, violence and drugs. One of the things that we did get back, which I think everybody should be proud of, in our survey about Be Responsible at the 5th grade level, is a lot of the kids said they didn't understand why they were going through classroom sessions with the police about certain subjects, which is great. That means that we're, right on course with where our 5th grade students are. I think the bigger problem with it and what we've seen in the past with DARE is a lot of the issues that we're talking to them about aren't experienced until they reach the middle school level and high school level. So while we are grateful that they don't believe they need to be having those conversations right now, we're trying to get ahead of them and want to follow up with them in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades to make sure that they are still in tune with the conversations that we had in elementary school. We do have some plans lined up with Mallory Youth Services, our youth division, with the goal being more of a focus on what to do once peer pressure finally sets in and their social circles start to grow and they're put in predicaments where we don't want them to be in. So like I said, we took a different approach this year. Normally it's on violence prevention and crime prevention, and we're trying to be a little bit different. We have consistently done that in the past, and while there's nothing wrong with that, I think it's time for us to maybe shift gears and try to focus on preventing some of the issues that we have seen at the middle school and high school level, and that's through education.
And Chief, if I can through you, Your Honor, I understand there's a curriculum that's being used for this, developing, and there's like 8 or 10 sessions that happen?
For the elementary school level, correct. The goal is to use that. We have the ability now to modify it to New Britain students, and not just New Britain students, but New Britain students in the middle school, and focus more on the problems that they face at the middle school level.
Okay. So it's still happening in the 5th grade?
Correct.
And it's just being expanded to the middle school? Thank you,
Correct.
Chief.
Any other questions for Chief while he's up here? Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Any other questions or comments on the acceptance of this grant? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Connors, item number 9.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good evening. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 9.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
Thank you. This resolution provides to formally accept and appropriate funding from the state of Connecticut within New Britain's Health Per Capita Special Revenue Fund account structure. This appropriation is for $142,000 of new funding from the state of Connecticut to provide a total fund balance of $465,680.37. It will provide for full-time salaries, part-time salaries, fringe benefits, medical supplies, office supplies, and operating materials. They will augment local appropriations, and this is a commonly performed transfer just to accept state money, and for those reasons, I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Connors. Are there any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman McAdam, item number 10.
Thank you. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 10.
Seconded by Alderman Gibson.
This is authorization to accept funding for Immunization Action Plan Grant, which is a total of $109,155. The objective is patient, parent, and medical staff vaccine education, tracking of infants born at area hospitals, assessment of medical practices, surveillance for communicable diseases, and public education for prevention of communicable diseases, and to avoid the serious consequences of these diseases and extend and improve the quality of New Britain residents' lives through immunization. The initial year of granting was 1995. This is for the period of 7/1/2024 to 6/30/2025, and again, the total is $109,155.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Are there any questions or comments on this item? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Only because Mr. Caleb was at the zoning yesterday for 3 hours and we never called him up to answer any questions, so come on to the podium so you're not sitting here all night not talking to us again. Can you just touch a little bit on the immunization program? I mean, I'm always glad to get money to provide health for our residents, but can you talk a little bit about that program?
Sure. Hill Bowles, Stevens and Great Health Department, right, sanitary.
Need a microphone.
How's that? Better? Better. Do I have to? You know who I am. So the immunization grant has been a long-term funding stream for the City of New Britain Health Department. As indicated in the record, it was started in 1995. That's been able to fund a full-time employee. At some point, there was extra revenue there so that we could hire part-time staff also to support that individual. Now we're down to just one person. The idea behind that immunization grant funding is the staff member is able to work with care providers throughout our catchment area, which it does extend past New Britain because a lot of our residents do seek pediatric care outside of New Britain as well as within the community. The individual is able to collect data and information into a statewide database, which is held throughout all the health jurisdictions in Connecticut, much like a birth registry. That information about immunization is able to be held because immunizations are required by state law. We are able to ensure that our residents are following through and are able to maintain their personal health and safety because we can ensure that they're getting their immunizations on time when they're supposed to be.
So along with the data collection, the actual administration of the immunizations happens at the health department, and how is that reached out to our New Britain citizens?
So we do have a vaccination program in our health department. Most of the vaccinations do occur in pediatric care. However, we do a flu clinic. We do have flu vaccinations. We're not doing COVID vaccinations anymore as we had done a lot of those over the past couple of years. We also do, tuberculosis direct observation therapy, and those are the only ones I can speak specifically to.
Okay, thank you.
Alderwoman Barbosa.
Knowing that many parents evade the responsibility of having the children immunized and decide on other choices, what partnerships or collaborations are you seeking to enhance the program's reach and effectiveness?
So right now, our biggest collaborator is working with the pediatric providers and also trying to reach out to parents. That's the role of our immunization coordinator, is to reach out to families that are resistant to the importance of immunizations and do education firsthand and do that primary intervention.
Additional questions? Alderwoman Barbosa.
What impact has past funding done with the community, done for the community?
Our immunization rates in New Britain are very high. We've been very successful in being able to get families and specifically pediatric kids vaccinated and safe.
Alderman Simpson.
Thank you. Just really quickly, I noticed here the initial grant funding was for 1995. Could you just speak as to what some of the numbers are over the years? Like how many families are we servicing? How many students? Just program data.
Every child that's born within our jurisdiction is approached in the same manner because it's a state law. I don't have specific numbers for you and how many kids we have born every year. I could provide that to you if you need me to. We could probably talk to the clerk also and get that information. But it's every child that's born in New Britain. And for that matter, every municipality throughout the state of Connecticut has these same requirements.
Any other questions? Great. Thank you, Mr. Coles.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley, item number 11.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 11.
Second.
I have a second from Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
This item is to approve receipt of grant funding in the amount of $45,824.50 from the state of Connecticut for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 for bioterrorism preparedness, and I do urge adoption.
Thanks, Alderman Smedley. Any questions or comments on the bioterrorism preparedness grant? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman McNamara, item 12.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt number 12.
Second by Alderman Connors.
This is the latest report from the revenue collector for refunds, abatements, and corrections, returning $32,700 in real property and $6,800 in vehicle refunds to the taxpayers. I move adoption.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Malinowski, item number 13.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 13.
Second from Alderman Hargraves.
And this is for maintenance and repairs of elevators located in various city locations. There is a contract awarded to Cone Incorporated of Trumbull, Connecticut for the police department for a period of 5 years for $7,800 per year. And Schindler Elevator Corporation of Rocky Hill, Connecticut for a 2-year contract for everything else in the amount of $39,340 a year, and the option to extend the contract for a period of 2 additional 1-year extensions. And I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Malinowski. Are there any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Santiago, item 14.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 14.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
This is a public bid number 4152, referring to a contract with Cones, Inc. for 5 years at $7,800 annually, and it's going to...
Go to the next one. Go to the next one.
14. It's 14.
Oh.
It is.
Off by one?
13?
No, he's 13. He was 13. I'm 14.
In the notes, but not in our packet.
Dams.
Oh, there's Deans. Damn.
Alderman, this was 13, you're 14.
Yeah, 14.
Oops.
The actual resolution is correct, it's just the notes aren't. The notes are.
Ooh. All right. Again, make a motion to accept and adopt item number 14.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley, had the second on that one.
All right.
Yep.
This is I gotta read this now. On-call engineer service for high hazard dams as required by Connecticut DEP, Public Works Department, Utility Division. Let me read it as whole. Whereas part of the state of Connecticut's dam safety regulation, it is mandated for the city to comply with the requirements of this regulation, which was updated October 13, 2013, requiring dams owners to perform these inspections. And whereas Tate and Howard is a Connecticut-based consultant engineering firm based in Waterbury that specializes in unsurpassed solutions in the water environment, and they were selected to be one of the city's New Britain's on-call engineer contractors in early 2024 under bid number 4157. And whereas Tate and Howard Inc. provides a scope and estimated fee of $22,000 to complete the task required under the state Connecticut's dam safety regulations in the proposal of June 14, 2024, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments on item number 14? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
A question that this is an on-call engineering service? This is Mark here?
Yes.
So Mark, you have an on-call list? And what is the amount of money you're able to use on your on-call list? So this didn't go out for a bid in and of itself because you have an on-call list.
Yes.
Can you explain how that works, please?
For an assignment up to $50,000, we can select a consulting firm from the on-call list. And this time it was a quick turnaround to get this done. So it was very advantageous to be able to do that. And it was just like a standard thing. Pat Carney had worked several times with them on the same assignment.
If you didn't have this on-call, you would have had to bid this out separately, right? And go through it. So with this, what would the timing of this resolution be for the council if you weren't able to pull from your on-call list?
I mean, the consultant selection, RFP, RFQ could take several months.
So I'm happy that you have an on-call list. I'm just sorry that Mr. Delgadillo last night was denied his opportunity to have an on-call list. I'll be supportive of this. Thank you, Mr. Moriarty.
Any other questions or comments on dam inspections? Alderwoman Barboza.
I have a slew of questions, but I don't know if I'm going to ask them all. The first one is, what are the specific requirements of the state of Connecticut's dam safety regulations that the city must comply with?
The specific requirements? I mean, we have to, all our high hazard dams have to be inspected. I believe it's a 2-year interval, but I don't know off the top of my head. We have 2 high hazard dams within the city limits, Stanley Quarter Park and Shuttle Meadow Reservoir. We also have a number of other dams that are part of our water operations that have to be inspected at this same interval. Most are not high hazard, but they're class B, which is 1 level down. I mean, you test for things like seepage, structural issues, mechanical issues. I mean, it's just anything that has to do with the functionality and safety of the dam.
Through you, Your Honor. Aside from probably being the lowest bidder, why was Tata and Howard selected as the on-call engineering contractor for the city?
Pat Carney had worked with them several times. This is it's a fairly, I mean,
Unique.
it's a fairly small assignment for, I mean, a lot of the work that we do. This is a smaller assignment, had to get done very quickly. These need to be completed by the end of the year. With the transition, I think we were a little bit behind on this task from Ray Esponda to Pat coming on, so it was important that he wanted to make sure he was working with somebody he knew that would be able to get the job done and get a job done quickly by the end of the year, and he'd worked successfully with them on the same thing in Manchester several times. So several, I mean, this is a $22,000 assignment, and it's, you know, every dollar is important. Several of the projects that we work on up there are, you know, several $100,000. So, but the timing of moving this one was very important.
Through you, Your Honor. What services are included in Tata and Howard's proposed scope of work regarding the safety?
Oh, for the, I don't have their proposal right in front of me, but it's basically the completion and filing of the inspection reports to Connecticut Deep. So it's field work, it's office work, and submittal of the proposals.
Through you, Your Honor.
Yes.
How was the proposed fee of $22,000 determined by Tata and Howard?
I mean, they gave us, there's a scope of services that they're well aware of for the work performed doing the dam inspections, preparing the inspection reports and submitting them. So basically, they put man hours to the work that's involved, come up with a fee, which is, honestly, it's a very reasonable fee. And we review the scope. If we don't, we oftentimes will push back on fees or actually walk away from a company if we feel like they're asking for too much money. Do it often. And in this case, it was a reasonable fee for the scope of the work involved. And let's see, Pat brought it to the Water Commission for their discussion and approval. They approved it and then brought it to City Council.
Through you, Your Honor. I'll just move on to the last one. Are there consequences for the city if they fail to meet the dam safety inspection?
100% there are. We'd be given violation. I mean, it's dam safety, obviously, especially high hazard dam safety. And they are inspected at a regular enough of an interval, and our people are working on them, maintaining them, mowing them. So, but there's consequences if you do not get the reports filed on time, for sure. It could be financial, it could just be a notice of violation.
Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Santiago, the final item this evening.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept item number 15 and refer to the and to refer to the Committee on Administration, Finance, and Law and Public Service.
Seconded by Alderwoman Sanchez.
This is a tax modification agreement with Ellis Stanley Land LLC, and we'll have discussions at the committee.
Any questions or
urge,
comments
referral.
on the referral to AFL? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Made by Alderman Santiago, seconded by Alderwoman Sanchez. All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. We're adjourned. The time is 8:07 PM. Have a great night, everyone.